Hello, everyone, and welcome to Global Communication 2. This is our makeup class for class 24, spring 2025. Sorry we weren't able to have class today, but hopefully this makeup lecture will be sufficient. In today's lecture, I just want to talk about persuasive speeches and how you and your partners can get ready for your final presentation. So, without further ado, let's begin. At the end of our last class, you were divided into 6 different groups, and hopefully now you have a little Kakao group chat where you can keep in touch with your members' names. Or keep in touch with your members. Thank you very much for posting you and your members' names in the group chat for Kakao Work. This helps me keep all of the groups and all of the students in each group organized in one convenient location. So thank you very much for that. Now it's time for you and your partners to get to work. So here's what you have to do. First, you have to talk to your group members and choose a general subject from the list. I showed you a list near the end of our last class of 7 different very, very general topics. So go on Kakao Work or Kakao Talk, wherever you have your sort of a group chat room, and decide what your general subject is going to be. After you choose, please get one person in your group to quickly put a message in the group chat on Kakao Work and say, "Hi, we are group number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. We choose this general topic." This is because I want each group to choose a different general subject. I don't want all 6 groups doing AI or technology, for example. So when you choose a general topic with your partners, please get somebody to post that in the group chat, and then nobody else can choose that particular topic. Okay, now that you've got your, so after doing that, and you've now got your general topic, now it's time to discuss with your group members what you're going to talk about specifically. So, for example, if you are talking about health, well, what specifically do you want to talk about in regards to health? Do you want to talk about something related to a new medical treatment? Do you want to talk about a particular disease, perhaps its causes? Do you want to talk about how to live a longer life or the best way to live a longer life? Maybe argue what is the best particular way to extend your longevity. That's completely up to you. Discuss with your group members and then choose the specific issue. So you've got your general topic. Now talk to your group members and decide what you're going to talk about specifically, the specific issue. Then you have to decide, well, how are we going to talk about this specific issue? Do we want to argue a moral speech? You know, something is good or bad, something is cruel, something is justified, something violates human rights. It's something like that. Or do you want to argue a factual speech? You know, you might want to say, here is a claim, here is an idea, and this idea is factually correct. It is a true statement. Maybe it's something that people think is false that you want to tell us is true. Maybe it's something that many people is true, but you want to tell us it's false. Please don't make it too obvious, like saying, you know, jogging for 30 minutes a day, 2 or 3 times a week is good for your health, because nobody would really disagree with that. Whatever topic you choose, there really has to be 2 distinct perspectives on it. One which you're arguing for, and another side which you discuss in your counter argument, which is against your opinion. It shouldn't be something that, you know, 99% of people agree with anyway. So you don't need to argue that the world is not flat, for example. So you've chosen your general topic. you've talked to your partners and decided what the specific issue is going to be. Then you decide what type of speech category you're going to choose, a value speech, a factual speech, or a policy speech. And then you need to decide what your opinion is actually going to be. I mean, is something true or false? Should we do something or should we not do something else? Is something cruel or a violation of human rights? Or can we consider something art or not art? Whatever it is, write down your opinion in a clear, concrete, and concise sentence, and then post it in the group chat. And I will either say yes or no. If I say yes, and most of the time I say yes, okay, your thesis statement is acceptable. Now you can begin preparing your whole speech. I just want to make sure that students are starting off in the right way. So if you've chosen your general topic, narrowed it down to a specific topic, decided what type of speech you're going to do, value, factual, or policy, and then you can write your thesis statement, a clear, concrete, and concise statement that clearly expresses the opinion that you're going to argue. Then please write that in the group chat. Say, hi, this is group 1. We are doing a policy speech on this specific topic. Here's our opinion. And then have the opinion in quotes. That way I can say, okay, good job, get started. So yeah, please remember, one thing which students sometimes try and do is they try and choose a topic which is very safe or something that's very, very familiar. I would strongly recommend that you don't do something that has been done 1,000 times. Like nobody wants to hear another presentation about whether high school students should have to wear uniforms or not, or whether the death penalty should be abolished. While these issues and several others, like abortion or euthanasia, are quite interesting, they are also very, very common. And I think most of the arguments for and against these propositions are quite well known. And I would like students to stretch their abilities a little bit by doing something a little bit less well known. If you do choose a topic that is something that we're all quite familiar with, try to take an angle that many people don't think about. Rather than just being for or against a general idea, maybe try and do something that is original. So for example, if you want to argue that the minimum wage, very, very common topic. Rather than saying the minimum wage should be raised or not raised, maybe argue that the minimum wage should not apply to people of a certain age. So for example, if somebody is under the age of 20 or over the age of 75, maybe you want to argue that the minimum wage should not apply to people of that particular group. Or maybe you want to argue that there should be a special wage rate for people of a particular age range. Or maybe you would want to say that depending on where somebody lives, maybe there should be a different minimum wage, different minimum wage. If you're living in the countryside where it's much cheaper, maybe we should have a lower minimum wage for the countryside, whereas somebody living in one of the richer parts of Seoul might actually have to require a higher minimum wage, something like that. By the way, please do not choose minimum wage now as your topic. No stealing my ideas for your final presentation. Okay, so just to quickly summarize, I'll just read right off the PPT here. So be original, don't choose a topic that's been done 100 times. If your topic isn't very original, then try to choose an original angle. Tell us a perspective maybe on this issue that people might not have thought about and argue for or against that. And remember, your opinion should not be accepted by everyone. As I mentioned before, don't take a position that 99% of people agree with. I want there to be something where clearly some people will agree with you and clearly some people will strongly disagree with you. This is the whole point of a persuasive speech. You want to take a position and then try to persuade the people who don't have your opinion at the moment. So here are the topics which I have sort of brainstormed and thought, well, I think these are quite open-ended enough that students might be able to choose something good from each of them. So AI or technology, I know this is a fairly popular topic the last few years. I only want one group in the class to choose an AI or technology-related topic. If you want to, please post that in the group chat. Video games, which is something that I haven't actually posted before. I put this as separate from popular entertainment or technology because I think there are some specific issues related to video games that make it deserve its own category. Okay, movies and popular entertainment, that's another one if you want to argue something about that. There are many interesting issues related to movies and popular entertainment. Or university life. This is something that all of your classmates would be able to relate to because everyone is a student. Relationships, whether you're talking about friendships or romantic partnerships, anything related to that, choose that topic. The environment, anything about the physical environment that we live in. If you want to talk about pollution or you want to talk about how parts of the environment are getting better or getting worse, this would be the topic for you. Health, anything in general related to human health or lack thereof. And finally, society, any sort of social issue, whether it's something that is Korea specific or something related to a more international society, this is all fine. So choose one of them. How many have I got here? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I've got 8 general topics, only 6 groups in the class. This means that everybody should be able to choose something related to their interests. Okay, so now you've got a sentence that clearly expresses your opinion, your group's opinion. You have your thesis statement. Now you have to start brainstorming some ideas for your supporting ideas and also your counter argument. I would strongly recommend not just choosing 2 basic supporting ideas and then going with that. I think it's a good idea to decide what the best supporting ideas are. So sit down with your partners and make a list. Make a list of like 5 or 6 different supporting ideas. And you'll find maybe a couple of them you can combine and then make it into like a much stronger supporting idea. Remember, your supporting ideas should be distinct. I don't want to have 2 supporting ideas that are so similar that they really could be merged into one. I want to have 2 ideas that are clearly separate, but both support the thesis statement. Think of them as pillars, if you will. You know, how pillars or columns can hold up a table or some sort of roof, some sort of cover. I want your thesis statement to be supported by 2 separate and distinct supporting ideas. For your counter argument, it's a good idea to do the same. Try and think of reasons why someone would disagree with your argument. And don't just pick the first one. Brainstorm a few ideas and then see what is the strongest argument against my opinion. Somebody who, if they hear your argument, they might say, no, I disagree with you. And here's why. Well, in that case, why would they disagree with you? What is their argument? And then you'll need to think of some kind of weakness, or if there's not a weakness, like a logical flaw or some misinformation in the counter argument, why should we accept your opinion and not the counter argument? Remember, some people in the audience might have the counter argument as their opinion. How can you change their mind? How can you tell us or convince us that your argument is stronger than the counter argument? So do some research and find some facts and statistics to support your opinion. In the PPT from our last class, I talked a little bit about using statistics. If you include a statistic in your speech, please tell me when the statistic was, when the research was done, who did it, and what the data is. You know, according to a 2022 study by Harvard University, 80% of students prefer online exams. I know who did the research, I know when it came out, and I know what the data is. And please put a link either at the bottom of your script or at the end of the PPT so I can check out your reference. Hey, you know what? When you are doing some research with your partners, you might actually find that your original opinion was wrong. And if that happens, then you would need to change your argument. Okay, so how to structure your speech. So in your introduction, include your thesis statement and your supporting ideas. Also some background, of course. Remember, there's a good chance that people in the audience, especially your professor, will not be so familiar with this topic. And in that case, I want you to give me some background to the issue. Look back at the examples of argumentative essays that we looked at in the textbook. They both have very good structure in their introduction. Start off with some general background, then get specific, and then you tell us the topic and your opinion of it. You can include the counter argument in the introduction, but I will not penalize you. I will not take off a point if you don't have the counter argument in your introduction. Some people put a brief counter argument in the introduction. Other people wait until the body of the essay and then they develop it there. I will leave that up to you. But definitely for your introduction, make sure you have a bit of background to the issue, a specific piece of information about the issue, then obviously your topic and your opinion on it, your thesis statement, and then move into the body of the essay. Now, you've got two choices here. You can have supporting idea 1, supporting idea 2, and then your counter argument and refutation. Or you could do the opposite. You could start with the counter argument, do the counter argument as your first body paragraph, and then have a refutation, R-E-F-U-T-A-T-I-O-N, refutation, where you show the weak side of the counter argument. Counter argument and refutation first, and then the two supporting ideas. It really is up to you. Two supporting ideas, then the counter argument, or do the counter argument first and then the two supporting ideas. Both are fine. Then in the conclusion, tell us your thesis statement one more time in slightly different words. Restate your supporting ideas. Briefly mention the counter argument and refute it again in the conclusion. And then at the very, very end, finish with a little thought. Whether it's a prediction about the future or an observation about the topic in general, give us something to think about at the end of your speech. Okay. So you've chosen your topic, you've got your thesis statement, you know how you're going to structure it, you've got your supporting ideas, etc. Now you got to write it. You have 3, probably 4 people in your group. So what I want you to do is decide who's going to do what. Who will write the introduction? Who will write the conclusion? Who will do the first supporting? idea, who will do the second, who will do the counter argument and the refutation, who's going to prepare the PPT. Remember, the PPT can be very, very simple. If you look at the slides that were used in the nap time presentation that you watched for your in-class listening quiz, the slides were very, very minimal. He didn't have anything fancy, but each slide had a very particular function. You don't need a very complicated, very flashy, or even very long PowerPoint. Just have your thesis statements, supporting ideas, a few good visuals, and that's all you really need. Any references you might want to include as well? Okay, so here are a few things that you also better not forget. After you finish your presentation, remember your presentation should be about 8 minutes, I want you to give the class something to talk about. So I want you to prepare one PowerPoint slide that includes 4 or 5 discussion questions. And then you'll say, okay, everybody, now talk to your partners about these topics. And then give the class 5 minutes or so to talk, and then maybe get 1 or 2 people to tell us what they discussed with their group. So here are a few question types that can help you make your topic come alive for the class during the discussion part. You might write a strong statement about the topic, a controversial statement or a very firm opinion, and then ask students, agree or disagree. Then you could ask maybe to rank something from most important to least important. So, by the way, these questions should all be related to the topic of your speech. So if your speech was about health and you talked about some kind of health food, you might also have a question where you list 5 different foods and then ask the class to rank these foods according to what they think is the healthiest down to the least healthy. Question number 3. Okay, you could ask a question related to the topic where you give the students a problem, like some kind of a dilemma or difficult situation related to the topic, and then ask them to think of a solution. What should be done? So you're giving them a policy-related question. Or question number 4, you could ask students a value question related to the topic. Is something good or bad? Is it cruel? Is it evil? Is it inhumane? Does it violate human rights? Is it good? Does it promote some kind of moral positive? Question number 5, ask students to decide who or what is responsible for a situation. So now you're doing cause and effect. I hope each group will bring at least 4 interesting questions. So the last slide of your PPT should be 4 questions similar to these question types related to your topic. Make them interesting. Let students in your class look at them and then say, discuss them for 5 minutes, and then let them talk to their partners for 5 minutes. Okay. So a quick note, next week, we only have 1 class, as you know. So in our class next week, this is the first week of June, bring your tablets and your laptops. You and your partners will have pretty much the whole class just to work on your presentation. If you don't finish the presentation before the end of class, then you'll have to finish it outside of class. Hopefully, you have come up with a topic and a specific opinion before the preparation class. I have had students in the past that come to the preparation class and they still don't know what their general topic is. So try and figure it out quickly, and then when you come to class next week, you'll be all ready to sit down and start doing your research and your writing. So as you know, in the second week of June, we will have 2 different presentation days. 3 presentations will be in each class. So the presentation itself will be about 8 minutes, discussion questions about 5 minutes, the Q&A, and remember, you should ask questions, and when you are presenting your own presentation, you should also answer at least one question. Q&A about, 7 minutes. You'll get 5 points for the Q&A, 5 points for the script and the PPT, 5 points for speaking. If your voice is quiet, don't feel shy. Take up that microphone and use the microphone. Because if I cannot hear you clearly at the back of the class, you will have a lower speaking score. Remember, you can't change somebody's mind if they can't hear what you're saying. The script itself should be about, oh, did I put here Q&A should be 53%? Uh-oh, I better change that. There we go. Here we go. I'll leave this in the final video. You can see that I'm recording live. Let's do it live. Okay, script and PPT 5%, speaking 5%, Q&A participation, that's 5%. Your script should be about 800 words. You don't need to memorize it. You don't need to memorize your script. You don't need to follow it word for word, but you do need to get the ideas across, and you need to speak clearly and naturally. If you can't pronounce a word very well, then don't use it. If you, let's say one of your partners wrote a sentence that is a little bit complicated for you and you can't read it in a natural voice, trust me, nobody in the class will be able to understand. If you don't really understand what a sentence says and you cannot say it clearly, you cannot expect your classmates to also understand. So whatever language you use, make sure that you understand it and you can say it clearly and naturally. If it's hard, simplify it. Keep it simple. That's always a good idea to follow as well. Clarity is the most important thing. And remember, sometimes it's good to finish a sentence and then just pause. Give them a couple of seconds to think about what you've said, especially if it's an important point. Pacing, ladies and gentlemen, it's a big thing. Okay, so presentation order and the deadline. You and your partners also need to decide whether you want to present on day 1 or day 2 during presentation week. Let me know if you'd like to be on day 1, presentation 1, or day 2, presentation 4. I can't guarantee everybody will get the order that they like, but I'll try to accommodate everyone. All scripts and PPTs must be uploaded to CyberCampus assignments. Actually, no, not CyberCampus actually, yeah, let's do it CyberCampus assignments. That'll make it easy. Okay, 2 hours before class time on day 1. So on the first day of presentations, 2 hours before our class begins, that's the deadline for uploading the script and also your PPT. People that have their presentation on day 2, they still have to upload their script and PPT 2 hours before class on day 1, because I don't want people on day 2 to have extra time to prepare their script and PPT. I want everybody to be finished the assignment at the same time, even if 3 groups will be going on day 2 and 3 groups will be going on day 1. Okay, so finally, and this will be my last note before I finish today's makeup lecture. At the beginning of our class next week, I will give a quick review of all the material that we've covered since the midterm, and I will also give you a final exam preview. So I will tell you what kind of information I will be looking for on the final exam. Just to let you know, the final exam will be written by hand. It will not be online. A couple of my classes had problems with the cyber campus losing its internet connection during the exam, and I don't want that to happen on the final. So this final exam will just be pen and paper. I will give you a preview of everything that you will need to study for the final exam in our class next week before you start preparing your final presentations. The final exam date itself is posted on SAINT, and I'll talk about that in our class next week. And I think I'm just about finished for now, so I'd just like to say good luck. Thank you very much for your hard work so far this